Hey guys, welcome back to Callus Crew Challenge number 2, round 1. We've got an exciting match here. DPP action between Zilo, I think it's Zillow, I think you can like rent apartments and stuff. ziloXX between him and Sprinkles on Shady Mofo. Love him or hate him, Sprinkles is not only the defending champ of this event, but he went undefeated last year. He was a vital part of his team's success. And some people played with one of the guys that they played with last year and then got a different third. But I believe Shady Mofos, the defending champs, is the only exact lineup. They came back all three. Sprinkles, Friend of Mr. Golem 120, and Empo, the defending champs from last year, came back as the exact same three and are trying to go back-to-back, which feels extremely improbable given the larger field and the overall strength of the field. But they're going to give it a go, and I admire that. The first step to that, and this is the first match in this series, by the way, between the LA Reapers, Zylo's team, and of course the Shady Mofos, Sprinkles team, is to achieve victory in this DPP set. Best of 3, as the entire tournament is. Let's get into it. Zylo on the bottom, and Shady Mofo, Sprinkles, on the top. They're both going to stay in with the turn 1 matchup, and U-turn is going to lead us to a Rotom. Coon is just going to calm mind up. Protect and T-Bolt, sure. And he's going to stay in knowing that there is a stab T-Bolt coming from the other side. 29% is what it ends up doing. He's going to miss Hydro Pump, however, and then Substitute is going to go down, so an unlucky miss for Sprinkles there with the 80-20. He'll pop the sub with Ice Beam. And he'll be Thunderbolted again. Undeterred by the Hydro Pump threat, just going to KO. Sprinkles with the first KO of the game. And Rose is going to follow up. It's going to spike on a Protect turn. Ice Beam, sure. And Stun Spore, so Paralyze Coon. Energy Ball, 29%, not bad, not bad. But Ice Beam through Para, irrelevant crit there. And Coon is going to claim a second victim here. Finally, Outrage is going to get him, but obviously the Coon did work there, netting a 2-for-1, though it should be noted that the spikes are down. That being said, the Flygon is locked on Outrage here, and that's going to give Sprinkles plenty of opportunities to punish it. Best punishment he could do is try to paralyze it with Jirachi. First time he doesn't, second time he does, and out of the way it goes. Jirachi subs up as Heatran comes in. Again, going to fish Para. 60-40 of hitting it thanks to Serene Grace. And he gets not only Para, but a full Para on Heatran here. That's going to prompt Protect. And here comes Iron Head trying to Para flinch him into oblivion. Going to go for it again. Iron Head damage is pathetic. It's not really about the damage here. It's about the Para flinch. But he's had enough. He goes to his own Heatran, hoping to get it in on Lava Plume, which he does successfully. That's going to trigger Flash Fire, and Heatran is about to go on a rampage. Switches it up to Earth Power, which would have devastated the other Heatran, but it only does 20% to the Coon, which he is not happy to see, and he's going to immediately explode on it, which is probably the target that he wanted. Leaves us in a 4-3. There's Loom, Focus Punch disrupted by Iron Head. Iron Head again, and he gets the flinch. So Loom is looking like it's doing a whole lot of nothing here. Sprinkles back to his own Jirachi, which also comes in on Iron Head. And we're back to Loom. Hidden Power, resisted, but good enough. Down that goes, 3-3 situation. See if Gengar can get it done. Goes for Shadow Ball, which does almost nothing, just 12% against the Heatran. But he's going to obviously switch it up to Focus Blast, which does a lot. 47%, and he eats a 48% Plume back. This Focus Punch going to be wide and right. And Lava Plume is going to be a crit. Zylo retakes the lead. Lati comes in. Final poke to be revealed this game. Trick is going to trade Choice Scarf for Choice Scarf. Even trade, right? Rachi on Rachi. One of these things is not like the other. Now one of these things is really not like the other because one of them is alive. And Sprinkles is going to concede. Not the start that the defending champion would have wanted. ziloXX gonna get the jump on Sprinkles. This is not the main tier for Zilo either. He's a GSC guy. Sprinkles, this is his main, or at least was for a long time. He plays a lot of ADV now, but this was his main for a long time, and in what is arguably his best tier against what is not his opponent's best tier, the defending champ loses a relatively hacks-free game 1. That's got to be a little nerve-wracking for him, and he's going to have to get 2 in a row in order to start the back-to-back that he so desperately wants for the Shady Mofos. Here's game 2. Zilo with 2 opportunities to slay Sprinkles here and put the defending champs on the back foot. Zilo on the bottom again, Sprinkles on the top. Gyarados coming in, getting Intimidate off on the lead Rotom, but not going to stick around to get hit with an electric attack. Sprinkles knows there'll be a switch and opts for Will-O-Wisp, which is going to pop the Lumberry for the incoming Tar. Out of the way we go. Skarm comes in. Rocks established. Fire Blast now, 49%. And now they both have a hazard as spikes come down. Takes this opportunity to go to Loom and gets it in on a Roost, which is going to allow him to pop his Toxic Orb, get the poison going, and Spore against a poke that very well may have Sleep Talk. Nevertheless, Rotom is napping. Now Latias comes in. There is Substitute. Not that Focus Punch is going to do a lot, but yeah, take what you can get. Now it's going to do even less. It's going to be not only resisted, but there's also a Reflect. So Focus Punch is going to do only 14% there. Obviously not an exciting number. Ice Beam pops the sub. And another Focus Punch for lack of anything better to do. This one 13%. Jirachi comes into a T-Wave. That's got to be a good turn for Sprinkles. Jirachi obviously a lot less effective. You don't really flinch stuff when you're paralyzed and you go after them. And now we end up with Skarm on Tar. Gyarados comes in for Intimidate. Doesn't really matter in that matchup. And Flygon in with the Reflect still up, but it fades. You turn back to Skarm. And that gets a 49% waterfall, which Skarm obviously will not survive another should he allow it to eat it. And obviously Zilo is going to click waterfall. He's going to connect with Lati in doing so, 24%, leaving it at 25. Going to click recover on the switch, and we end up with Lati on Lati in what is still a 6-6 game, and both guys have unrevealeds. Rachi coming in. So 1 unrevealed each for these guys. Rachi on Rachi now, and Rocks are up. So Rocks and Spikes beneath Zylo's team, and just Rocks for Sprinkles to deal with. Sleeping Rotom comes in. T-Tar going to come in, and we know that that had a Lumberry, so that is established. Shadow Ball in his sleep, not all that exciting. Special Tar opts for... It's a mixed Tar, because Crunch, as many of you know, is physical in this gem, but he also has Fire Blast. And there's the full set, so it is Rocks, Fire Blast, Crunch, Superpower. And that Superpower is going to come in clutch, landing a critical hit and eliminating Flygon for the first knockout of the game. Zylo, who already won Game 1, is now ahead in Game 2. And Sprinkles shows his final poke, a Clefable in the back. Stall team for Sprinks. More offensive for Zylo. I guess like a balance, but an offense of some kind. And in comes Skarm, possibly to die. But it gets tricked, actually. Choice Scarf for lefties is gonna be the trade. There's Thunderbolt, Irrelevant Para, Magic Guard, so busted in Gen 4. It will never full para, because it is a broken ability. Oh, here comes my kitty Panda on the keyboard to help narrate. Hey, Panda, what a pretty girl. Gyarados coming in for the Intimidate. Ironhead is obviously underwhelming there, both intimidated and resisted. And Scum going to die to rocks on the way in. Xylo furthers his lead. It's now going to be 6-4 for him temporarily as Ironhead gets the revenge kill. But nevertheless, Xylo is still in the lead. Well, just kidding. Healing Wish is going to make it a nice clean 4-4. Rachi going to be the beneficiary, and we've got Rachi on Rachi action. The paralysis that was plaguing him is gone. Fire Punch aimed at the other Rachi. Going to find a less exciting target in the Rotom, though he does manage to get a crit there for 30%. Also going to get a flinch with Ironhead. Rachi's pretty busted in this gen. Ironhead again, and flinch again. Exactly what he was hoping for. Fire Punch for the kill. Xylo back in the lead, and he still hasn't shown his last poke. Reflect and Body Slam, respectively. Sure, the damage irrelevant. It's just a bad Thunder Wave almost. There is Recover and Body Slam. Still not finding the power that he's hoping for. Ice Beam, fishing for a freeze. So both of them going for status, but one of them has a 10% chance, and one of them has a 60%. And the Body Slam this time does land the power that he's looking for. So again, we begin the para flinch dance here. And he does get the para. Ironhead again, this time a crit for 43%, and the flinch. Sprinkles might be in some trouble here. This would be quite the upset if Xylo got the 2-0 victory over Sprinkles, the defending champ and the DPP main. But it's looking like that could happen here. Lati dead, flat out 4-3 advantage now for Xylo. His Rachi's paralyzed at least to slow things down a little bit, but there's a decent chance for Xylo to win this game. Fire Punch and a crit for Sprinkles is certainly helpful. And he dodges the Body Slam para. Better lucky than good. Fire Punch again. Body Slam. Can he get him this time? There we go. 60% para. And don't forget, like I said, still an unrevealed in the back for Xylo as well, which is relevant in this case. They trade Fire Punches, but Xylo's does more. And that is going to be a second Mon with Healing Wish. This time passing the love to T-Tar all the way down to 7 and then all the way up to 100%. Gliscor switches in on a T-Wave. Lets him activate his orb safely if he wants it, but he doesn't seem to have that this time. Might crack it up. Does he not get Poison Heal in this gen? He does not. Sorry, guys. I was just narrating Black-White. Hyper Cutter and Sand Veil is what he has in this gen. Anyhow, Crunch and Ice Beam happening here. Crunch again for a crit. And Soft Boiled. Crunch again. Remember that Clefable will never full para here because of broken Magic Guard. He could get a defense drop with Crunch or crits or what have you, but full para will never happen. And there is a defense drop. Obviously the Crunches are going to do more now, and crits are very dangerous. Here comes Rachi hitting rocks on the way in. Crunch 35%, definitely not going to live another, so no choice but to go back to Clefable. 32. Looking for yet another defense drop if he can find it. Sprinkle's going to crit him with Ice Beam. Rachi would die if he crunches here, but he goes for Superpower instead. Got 14 crunches still, but it's going to be only the Clefable now. And I'm kind of surprised that Xylo sticks in here. I think he should... I guess he just wants the defense drop is all he really cares about, but I don't know. I probably would have pulled it back, but he sees it differently. He's not going to make progress this way because he's got the attack reduction after Superpower. He's just fishing for a defense drop that he hasn't found yet. He doesn't get it there either. Lot of chances. Another one. There we go. There's a defense drop. And the T-Tar dies, but the defense drop could super duper matter here. There's earthquakes, there's fighting attacks on the other side. Seed Bomb, physical in this gen. And Sand happens before Poison Heal, which is why the Breloom died there. So it comes down to a one-on-one matchup. Earthquake there. Why would you click Soft Boiled rather than Ice Beam? Earthquake. Soft-boiled again. Why? Why wouldn't you click Ice Beam and just win the game? Ice Fang, soft-boiled. Why? Why? And there's the Ice Beam to kill him from 100. But if it gets him from 100, it obviously would have gotten him from 80-something where he was. Sprinkles is such a fucking noob cakes. That was loose. Xylo deserved to win this one. Sprinkles gave him multiple chances at the end there to find a crit. It should have been a one-turn window and a one-turn window only to find a crit because Sprinkles should never click soft-boiled there. You just click Ice Beam, you kill him, and you move on to game 3. Instead, Sprinkles gifts him multiple chances like a noob cakes, but is not punished for his noob cakery. And it's going to be Sprinkles getting an undeserved Game 2 victory and pushing us over to a Game 3. So here is a third game, ziloXX and Sprinkles. Like I said, this does not determine who wins between these teams, but you obviously want to win the match and make it easier for your teammates. So here is the third game between these guys. Xylo's on the bottom, Sprinkles on the top. We've got a Meta, we've got an Empoleon. They're both happy. They both do a fuck ton to each other, Hydro Pump and EQ respectively. But it's Sprinkles who gets the better end of it because he's faster and he doesn't miss the Hydro Pumps. T-Tar coming into Thunderbolt now. Will-O-Wisp and Rocks respectively. So early lead for the Sprinkler. Hydro Pump coming down. 45 is a lot, but not enough. Crunch is going to be a crit there, but it's going to be weakened with Colbur Berry. Custap Crunch. Done and done. And it's going to die to the burn, so that ends up just being a trade. Flat out Pokemon advantage for Sprinkles 5-4. Hazard's down as well, so hard to deny that Sprinkles is clearly in the lead in this game. Heatran comes into a Fire Punch to give Xylo a little bit of life. See what he could do with that Flash Fire. He decides to simply set up Rocks as Flygon comes in. His counterpart comes in and blanks the EQ. U-turn just in case he's not locked on that. Roserade. And he EQs again. He must have been anticipating that U-turn. Sprinkles for the first time in his life makes a good play. Here comes Gengar coming into Rocks and Ice Beam. Not exactly the sturdiest Mon. Heatran comes in. And Shadow Ball. 32 with a crit, and he gets a Specs drop. That's a good Shadow Ball. Crit and added effect. Lucky, lucky. Flygon comes in, gets Focus Blasted for 56%. Out of the way, going to fodder off Empoleon. And it is Outrage, which he's going to be locked on, so Sprinkles can take advantage of that. He's, of course, going to go to a Dragon Resist, that being Jirachi in this case. Outrage only 24%. Iron Head, out of here. Only 2 Mons remaining for Xylo, 4 for Sprinkles, one of which unrevealed. Heatran gonna boom, so last poke Coon pretty quickly. Coon against the world being 3 pokes in this case for Sprink. Shadow Ball Ice Beam, sure. 2-on-1. We still don't know the one. Rachi gonna come in. Gonna try to get him with Para Flinch, or I guess just Flinch in this case. And he gets yet another crit plus added effect turn. And Body Slam will do it. We'll never see the last poke for Sprinkles. Gonna get him with a Body Slam. This one, not as close as the other 2. Xylo put up a good fight. And certainly for a non-DPP main, really looked solid here and looked like he could have taken it. But it is the person that most of you thought would win this, the defending champ and the DPP main. Sprinkles gets the 2-1 victory over ziloXX. I go back to game 2 and again emphasize that Sprinkles is a giant fucking noob cakes for not just clicking Ice Beam. So you could certainly argue that Xylo coulda, shoulda, woulda, and deserved to win this 2-0. But that's not the way it works in Mons, and the way it actually played out is a 2-1 series victory for Sprinkles, and a 1-0 series lead now for the Shady Mofos over the LA Reapers. Appreciate you guys watching, and there's still a lot more narrating to do. Like button if you liked. See you in the next video.